Good evening, everyone, and thank you for tuning into this very special Motivational Mondays tonight. I'm Barbara Ellzey, and I'm so glad that you're here. Sit back. This is a special show, and we're just going to enjoy what God has done in this young woman's life. Good evening again. I am so glad that you are here with us. Before we begin, why don't you just go ahead and hit that share button, share. And even if you're at YouTube, go ahead and subscribe and hit like on tonight. We have a special Motivational Mondays. I thank you all. I see you coming in, and I thank you for supporting Motivational Monday. Tonight, we have a special show with a young lady who I met some years ago, and we're going to talk about that. Her name is Erinn Haynes. And just her life is just tremendous. Erinn, some years ago, 28 years ago to be exact, lost her entire family in a tornado, her mother and her father and her sister, and she was the only survivor. What drew me to Erinn Haynes is that down through the years that I have known her, she has always been this ball of light, very pleasant. As you see this smile on her face, that's who Erinn is, and it was just until recently, 2018, that I saw the article, and I was reading the article, and I was like, wow, this is really interesting. But when I saw the picture and I saw her name, I was really, really surprised that this was the young lady who I had met at one of my meetings. And so for all of you all, I want you to not put your hands together, sound like I'm at church, but I want you all to welcome Erinn Haynes. Hey, Erinn.
Hi,
How are you?
Thank you, Miss Barbara. Hi.
Oh my God.
Good
I am
evening,
so
ladies.
glad,
Good
so glad
evening.
that you are here. Still got that smile, that
Thank you.
megawatt smile. I love it. I love it. I love you. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I've been sharing that you're coming and your wonderful testimony. Oh my God. Wow.
Thank you. Thank
How you
you.
doing? How you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. I'm really excited about you and your story and your testimony and just your life journey. So we're just gonna jump right into it, okay? So
Absolutely.
I remember when I first met you, I was having I don't know if this was my third session tryout for Miss Voluptuous when I was doing
Yes, it was
the
Miss
plus size.
Voluptuous USA 2016.
Was it 2016? Wow,
2017. I'm sorry. Miss Voluptuous
2007.
USA
Miss,
2017.
yes, I remember when you came in there and you had flowers in your hair and everything, but you stood out. You stood out and everything, and I just like, wow, look at her. And so even from then, noticing your energy and the aura that is around you that is very positive, and again, that megawatt smile. So I just started watching you, on Facebook. We became friends, and I started watching you and everything. And I said, this girl is always upbeat. It just always seemed like you're in a good place, that you always like in a happy place. And, and I see, the way you dress, you just own yourself, honey. You do what you want to do, how you want to do. You are the epitome of I am every woman. I be checking you out.
Thank you. Well, I don't mind. One thing that I always say that I just discovered within me is I like to live life. I like to experience life. I don't let life experience me.
Oh,
That's what I believe in.
oh my goodness. Wow. That's amazing considering, right? And so in 2018, when I saw your story, I was blown away. At first of all, I was just reading, oh, this is interesting. And when I saw your picture, I put my face so close to like, is this her? And I saw her name, and then immediately I went to your page and the story was there. I could not believe what I was reading. I'm like, wow, to read what had happened. So we're just going to share it, 28 years ago. The first question that I want to ask you, though,
Okay.
we get into that. Tell me about your parents and your sister Paige. As you can see, I didn't read up on everybody, but I just want you to share with the audience about your parents and your sister Paige. What was they like? What were they like?
Well, first of all, let me say that's awesome that you did your research. That's
Uh-huh.
really that's the first step. So
Uh-huh.
yes, kudos to that,
Thank
Miss
you.
Barbara. My mom was very intelligent, very intelligent. She went to my grandparents lived on the south side, but
Mm-hmm.
she went all the way to the north side to Sinton High School. Sinton
Mm.
on
Oh
the
yeah.
south side.
Oh yeah.
Got
Oh yeah.
on the L, well, whatever it was at the time, I don't know, but she got on the L and went all the way to Sinton High School. Then
Mm-hmm.
after she graduated, she went to nursing school and she became an RN.
Mm-hmm.
She eventually became the head RN of the outpatient department at a hospital that used to be here in Chicago, Columbus Hospital. It's no longer here, but I do remember as a young girl always going with her on those Saturdays as she
Uh-huh.
did her job. You know how we have take your daughter to work day.
Right.
That
Right.
was every weekend for me. So my mom was like, yeah, I put you in an atmosphere where I want you to know how to be social. So I had to learn how to talk. I learned about what a good bedside manner is just from
Okay.
watching my mother,
Okay.
because she had a astronomically great bedside manner.
Bedside
Um,
manner. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. She worked with women, she worked with kids, she worked with men, she worked with everybody.
Wow.
And so nowadays, when I look for doctors and I notice their bedside manner is not up to par, I'm like, you ain't the one.
You're not the one. What about your
um,
dad? What about your dad?
yeah, my dad, Robert Haynes, he was an excellent teacher as well. My dad was an engineer for
Mm-hmm.
AT&T. Well,
Yeah.
excuse me, Illinois Bell, which is now AT&T.
Right.
And my dad was very outgoing, and I think I
Okay.
get most of my I would say most of my traits from him, because my
Okay.
dad was the life of the party. And anybody who knows Erinn knows that when Erinn comes in, she's gonna
She's
be
a
the life of
light.
the party.
Because
Erinn's
you
gonna get
took,
the
I
party
know,
started.
you took over Miss Voluptuous. You came in and Canette and I, we stood back like, who is this? But you just like lightning in there, So
Yeah. So I mean, I get my dad was outgoing. He was a gymnast, so he had his quiet days.
mhm.
But most of the time, my dad was, he was a hard worker, but he did what he had to do so he can play later. If you get what
Okay.
I'm saying.
Right.
My dad also, anybody who doesn't know this about me, my dad was also a softball player. He
Okay.
played softball for the Wolfpack. Now, I
Mm.
don't know where those members are now, but he loved playing softball for the Wolfpack.
For the wolf
And they
pack.
played
Wow.
what was way back. They played sometimes in the suburbs, sometimes they played over near Grant Park. So
Okay.
I was exposed to sports as well as a child, which is probably why I was a cheerleader in high school, because I like sports too. I mean, I
Okay.
want to play them, but I'll root for you.
Okay. And what about Paige? I know that you say Paige she was quiet. She didn't talk a lot, but she smiled often.
Yeah, absolutely. Paige was one of those kids that, you know how you got those kids who have to warm up to you?
Yes.
That was my sister. Me, on the other hand, I'm like, hey, how you doing? What's up? My sister, she's sitting back watching you like,
Okay.
hey. And that's
Okay.
it. She had to warm up to you. She was really my mom's child. I was more of my
Your
daddy's
dad's
little girl.
child.
So.
So your mom was a nurse, as I read, and your dad was an engineer. Uh,
Yes.
how old were they at the time?
They both died. They were like a year apart, but they were both 39 at the same time when they passed. So
Okay.
my maternal grandmother who raised me,
Okay.
always said forever 39 because they both died at 39 years old at the
At,
same time,
at the same
same
time.
age, same time.
Wow. Tell me about your childhood. Tell me what you remember about your childhood. I know you was 13 when everything
Yeah.
happened, but what do you remember about your childhood?
What would I say? I remember. I think I had a very happy childhood. I had a very special childhood.
Hmm.
I lived in Washington Heights.
Okay.
So I was more familiar with the 95th area over there by Bishop Brazier's church. Wait,
Okay.
is it Bishop Brazier? I think it is. Is it Bishop Brazier on the church on 95th?
63rd. No, no, no.
Trinity? No,
Trinity.
Trinity.
No, that's Jeremiah Wright.
Okay, Jeremiah Rice. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Jeremiah Rice Church. That area. We had a two 3 bedroom house, had a basement. I had a lovely childhood. Anybody
Yeah.
who knows me knows that I like to dress up. My mom would do my hair. My mom did my sister's hair. We all every year, and I'm gonna carry
Mhm.
on the tradition. When I get my husband with our children, we had a Halloween party every year. So if
Every
you catch
year.
me dressing up as a character or for Halloween overall, that's because my parents instilled in me have fun on Halloween.
Ha-
He would just have a party. And so we
Uh-huh.
would just have a party instead of, sending the kids out to trick or treat because it was so dangerous.
So you
So
so you guys just really had a lot of fun together as a family. And I can
we had so much.
was there a lot of music in your house? You know,
Absolutely. My parents, I think I
yeah.
get my love of music from them because my
Yeah.
parents, they just loved all kinds of music. They
Hmm.
loved, the Spinners, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes.
Hmm. Hmm.
My mom was into Sade. My
Yeah.
mom was, she was kind of a free spirit like me, but
Okay.
they balanced each other out.
They
And then
balanced
my
each.
sister, she was just more so a go with the flow type of girl. So,
Okay. She was the quiet one. I guess she
yeah.
was going to be quiet because everything else was going on. So she was just going to lay back and just.
And pay attention and watch and observe.
Uh-huh. Listen, let's talk about what happened 28 years ago, and
Okay.
how that just drastically changed your life. So I know back then with your mom and your dad, whenever we went on vacations, we would get in the car. This is what we did back then, right? Nobody got on no plane. You get in the car, you go down south. You'd be like, I'm going on vacation. You go down south, you go to Georgia, this place and that place. But you guys was coming from St. Louis and was headed back to Chicago. So you was coming through Tulsa. Is that correct?
Actually, it's the flip side. We were
It's the flip
on
side.
our way from St. Louis, headed into Oklahoma.
You was headed into Oklahoma. Okay, tell me
Yeah.
that day.
Whew.
And let me
Um,
ask you, did it start out? I know it started out like just an ordinary day,
Absolutely.
loading up and things of that sort. So take me on that journey with you.
Okay. I remember that we stopped in St. Louis and we spent the night in St. Louis and we didn't go on the arch or anything like that. But what I
Okay.
can remember is my sister and we were playing by the river. I guess it was the Mississippi River, or I don't really know, but I think it was the Mississippi River. And we were
Hmm.
just playing, and my dad was like, "Okay, time to go."
Okay.
So we all loaded to a van. It was like one of those old Toyota vans that first came out that looked like a V, like a greater than, less than symbol in the front. I don't know if you remember that. So
Okay.
that's all
No.
backwards happening.
Okay.
And we got in the van. We drove. Then we got
Hmm.
to Oklahoma. That's when our hell broke loose. That's when the hit the fan.
Okay.
So my dad, so it was like real dark. It was like crazy dark. Like you could hardly see your hand in front of your face.
Oh, wow.
And we didn't know what we heard the tornado coming. And a tornado, when people say it sounds like a
A
train,
train. Hmm.
that's what it sounds like. It's
Wow.
it's hard. It's really, that's what it actually sounds like. It sounds like a train, a freight train. Sounds like a freight train.
Okay.
So I saw it out the corner of my eye. My dad was driving. I was in the passenger side. My mom and my sister were in the back. We didn't know, us being from Chicago, we didn't know pull over, go in a get in the ditch. My dad he just kept driving, and then eventually he pulled over. So I saw it coming, and I'm like, "Oh God, what are we supposed to do?" And
So
my dad, the last,
you saw the tornado headed towards you?
yes,
Okay.
yes. And so my dad was like, "Get on the floor and pray." That's what we did. The tornado picked us up, and I got knocked out. Something hit me in the back of my head. The last thing I remember is hearing my sister, my baby sister, and my mom screaming. I don't remember anything. I don't know. I got knocked out after that.
Wow. And so who found you? When you
I guess Highway Patrol probably found us because they
Okay.
were, from what I understand, when it was all over, when everything was finished, when the tornado was gone, and it cleared up, the sky cleared up, and all that. Of course, they had to find out who survived and whether see the damage. So, uh,
Let me
I
let
was
me
my
enter
parents was still
let me interject right here. I was reading where it says it's the Catoosa. Is it Catoosa? Is that the way it's pronounced?
yes.
The tornado. It remains one of the worst natural disasters tornado to come through Tulsa in that metropolitan area. It said that 7 people died. 75 was injured, and it destroyed 300 homes and 46 businesses, and that it was like $120 million in damage. So they said this is what like the worst tornado that had come through there, and you guys happened to be in that. And I also read where it was the storm chasers, the storm chasers who found you.
Mhm.
You know,
Oh well.
and here's the thing. I have seen movies where they have and I can't think of this movie, but it was like a they storm chase, and it is actually you know
Twister.
yeah, twisters. They actually chase them. They actually chase them. They go up in and all it. And I was reading that's who found you. So when they found you, continue.
I don't know. I woke up in the hospital 2 days later after being in a coma. So
Hmm.
I couldn't tell you like, oh, I know they picked me up and I touched their hand. What I will say is I did see, how people say you see a bright light? I did see a bright light. I did see the white light. And I remember God telling me, turn around. It's not your time. I'm very serious on that. Absolutely.
Wow.
Very serious. I did see a white light.
And you heard God say, turn around. It's not
It's
your time.
not your time.
Oh my God, I got chills behind that. Wow.
Yeah.
So you're in a hospital. You're in a hospital, and I know you're looking for your family.
Yes.
So who brought you word about your family?
Well, I kept asking, and my grandmother, my mom's mom, told me that they all perished. I guess
Mm,
I guess my thought was it did at least one of them live so I could go through life with one of them?
yeah.
No, and I think for me, not even I think I know that that's when God told me that I had to be brave, not just for them but for myself. I just have to be brave.
Let me tell you something, girl. You are so amazing to me. And I've told you that
Thank you.
before. You are so amazing to me because sometimes we fall out, over something that has happened in our personal life, a relationship, a marriage, or, going through on a job or something like that. And to just see you, and I've said this to you before, you are resilient. You are resilient. You really are. You're a resilient woman, and the things that you have accomplished as you went on. And so we're going to continue to talk about that. But I just wanted to interject that, and you still smiling. You still smiling. How many people you wake up and your grandmother or someone in your family said your whole family has perished. You're the only one left. When you heard that, when you heard that, what happened?
It, like I said, it reaffirmed that God is telling me, Erinn, you have to be brave. Be brave. Number one. Number two, to have faith in him. He's always gonna take care of me no matter what. It
Wow.
wasn't my time. Number three. And number two, number four, when I'll say this about death. I'm not scared to die. I'm just scared of how I'm going to die. I'll say that. So I know that's kind of like, wait a minute, but
No, no,
it's just
no, no,
if it
no.
makes any sense, it's
It
the
makes a
truth.
lot. It makes a lot of sense. And here's the thing. It makes a lot of sense. And here's the thing, because you have taste death. You taste death. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you was in a place, you know, and God said, Erinn, turn around and go back. It's not your time.
Not your time.
It's not your time. So you actually taste death. You was actually on your way until he turned
Absolutely.
around. So death is not a thing that you are afraid of. That's amazing. You know, and you know, as you're talking, I'm thinking about the goodness of God, you know, and the grace of God and the mercy of God. You are evident that God is and so many others. But that the mercy of God is upon your life. And when you say that he's been taking care of you ever since then, would you say that he has been taking care of you every since?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah, I pray for God. When I pray, God, please watch over me and keep me from danger seen and unseen.
Wow.
And God is real. God is real. And I'm a testimony of that. There have been times where I don't know where, like, how I'm going to pay for something, and I may find a $20 bill on the floor, on the ground. I'm like,
Mhm.
thank you, God, for my little $20. But
And he does
God,
it just like that. He does it just like,
yes,
yeah.
God is real. God, I believe nobody can tell me God is not real. If you are
Wow.
atheist, I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm a
Wow.
believer. I am a believer.
At 13 years old, and so you learned that your parents, they perished in a tornado, and then comes the funeral. What did that feel like?
I don't know. I wasn't there. I was still in the hospital.
You were still
I couldn't even make it. I wish I could have. They taped it for me when there were tapes, but
uh-huh.
I have the funeral on CDs now. On a CD, you know, now I have to have some other way to do it, maybe on a flash drive. But
Okay.
yeah, I wasn't there. I don't know if I wish I was there when I think about it, but I don't know if I really want to be there. Like, because from what I can see, because they had an open casket funeral,
Okay.
and from what I could see, they didn't even look like themselves. From what I could see,
And it was the three of them together.
yeah, just they looked a little bloated, you know, just from being in an accident, you know, whatever that
Hmm.
entails with death. I don't know if I could have took that. Now, if from what I do understand, it was standing room only. It was held at oh my god, Apostolic Faith Church with Bishop Horace Smith. It was held at his yes, it was held at his church because my mom worked with Bishop Smith because he's a doctor and he worked at Columbus.
What?
So at the time, I don't know if he works there now, but
No, he doesn't.
yeah,
Your parents' funeral was held, that's my pastor, at the
yes,
Apostolic Faith Church.
yes, yes.
That's
You can ask.
amazing.
Yes, he officiated the funeral. Yes.
What? That's amazing.
Hmm.
Wow. And did you ever get a chance to see him? Did you get a chance to see Bishop Horace Smith? Did you?
Yes, he came to visit me all the time. Absolutely. He came to visit me all the time. Absolutely. Yes.
You know what? You got to come to church so he can see you. You got to come.
Okay.
You got to come to our new church so Bishop Smith can see you. This is amazing. Wow. Let me ask you. what has helped you? And I know you said God has been there for you, so I don't even have to ask you this of what has helped you. But apart from God, He's our major. But there are some things that we need to do as well. What has helped you down through the years? With I know prayer and God, but what other things has helped?
I would say spending time with family and friends. They keep me grounded. They make
Mhm.
me. They watch over me. They too are my guardian angels. They check in with me. Are you okay? You need anything? And with that being said, like I'm a loner most of the time, and I'm not saying this on purpose. It just is what it is.
It is what it
But
is. Yeah.
it is what it is. I've come to be used to it, so it
Okay.
is like whatever. But
And so,
people,
did you have professional counseling?
absolutely, I still have a
Yeah.
counselor. I have a psychiatrist. Yes, I have
Look.
PTSD.
Uh
There's
huh.
something wrong. We as Black people need to get rid of the stigma about us going to therapy. There's nothing wrong with Black people, Black and brown people, people who look like us
Yeah.
going to therapy. There's nothing wrong with it, and
Nothing
I
wrong with it.
advocate for it.
Okay. I know that's right. There's nothing wrong with it. There's a friend of mine's, Lisa Camille. She said sometimes you just need to go in for a tune-up. You just need to go sit down and talk about it. What's going on with you. Just talk about it. And she said you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed what the therapist will, what they will find because they're objective. They're just sitting and they're just listening. That's awesome. So down through during the years, does the memories for you become easier?
I think they become harder
They
because
become
not
harder.
even I think they are harder because I am the age I am now. I live past the age of my family, both of my parents. I'm 41. My parents died when they were 39.
39. Yeah.
So, I want to get married. There are questions about relationships that I want to ask my mom or my dad, and they're not here for that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like certain times I feel like I'm navigating through this thing we call life by myself. And
Yeah.
of course, we as children make our own mistakes. But the difference is some people had between them and me is they have their mom to talk to. They have their dad to talk to. I don't have anybody, a therapist, but I
Wow.
don't have a blood relative as far as my mom or my mother or father to turn to. I don't have that. And that's the hard part.
That's the hard part. And the holidays and the Christmas and the Thanksgiving
Oh,
and the Mother's Days and the Father's Days. And
the Father's Day.
yeah,
Yeah.
you are such a blessing. You really are. And so and you went on, I think you got your master's a while back. Is-
Yes.
I've been watching you. I've been watching you. I've been watching you. I've been watching your progression and stuff and the
Thank you.
you do. And because like I said, you're such a bright light. You're a bright light. And I said to you when we was talking about you coming on the show, how there's no residue on you, Erinn. There's no residue. And I remember you saying, what's that?
Yeah. What is that?
It's something that, that to let people know that you've gone through that. I would have never known that you lost your entire family in a tornado. Never known that because you don't carry it, on you on the outside, right? And so that just shows you what God can do on the inside. You
Yes.
cannot even pick that up from you. And that's God over you. That's you walking in grace and mercy. You're walking
Thank
in
you.
grace and mercy, and He has blessed you. Something like that. People have lost their minds, their complete mind, literally, over
Yeah.
relationships or something traumatic that has happened in their life. Their mind has snapped. And for you to say, I woke up and they said, everybody is gone. It's just me. That's strength. That's the strength of God. And He's still with you. He is
Yeah.
He's still with you. And I know you feel that every day that He's with you. So I'm encouraged by you. I'm so encouraged by you to the place of, so many times, like I said, we go through things and we feel like we can't make it. And now you're what, 41? You know,
41.
you're 41 and you sit here smiling like you just won the lottery. You, you're smiling like you have won the lottery, and you're talking about the goodness of God and how He has kept you. This is absolutely wonderful. And one of the things that you said that I really love, Erinn, was that there's such a stigma on Black and brown people going to see a therapist. And I had a young lady on the show, I think last month, Jessica was on here, and I loved what Jessica was saying. She said, I have mental illness, right? But that's not who I am.
Mhm.
So the things that she said, I was like, wow, it was just wonderful how she, defined her mental illness and things. And she was very open and honest about how she interacts with people and things of that sort. Tell me, do you have any down days? What it looks like on your down days?
So my down days, depending on the day, I may cry. I may just
Mhm.
want to be to myself. I may not. I have to write in my journal. I have
Yeah.
to just listen to music. I have to power down from social media.
Hmm.
Social media, it's not wrong with being on social media, but
Right.
sometimes for me, where I am, depending on where I am in my life, I have to just get away from it. Like uninstall Facebook, uninstall Instagram, because it's like, okay, this is not. I know it's not. Not everything is real, but some things,
Exactly.
like when I see people that I
Exactly.
know with their kids, or I'm getting married, or all that, I just have to be like, okay, I can't do this.
Which say I can't do
Not
it.
today.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, have a little tea, do my Erica Badu, having some tea and lighting some candles,
Uh-huh.
have self care. I believe in self care. Paint my
Yes.
nails, watch a little TV, or watch a good movie, not like something that's dramatic and scary, something that's a good comedy, a rom com. And a
Hmm.
rom com is a romantic comedy.
Hmm. Something
So
something that would make you laugh. Wow. Who is your go-to person? Who is that person that you can call and say, hey, your go-to person?
I
And
have to.
you have
I'm
to.
sorry.
Awesome. Because we all need those that we can just call and we can share ourselves, right? We can be, I always say, and I heard some years ago, a preacher say, you can't be naked in front of everybody. But
Absolutely.
there are some people that you can get naked in front and say, you know what, and you can share just what you're feeling, but you can't do it with everybody. And I had to understand that and learn that, because you just cannot pull back the layers, right? You can't pull
Hmm.
back the layers with everybody, And so I'm glad that you have two go-to people, that you can call and say, hey, this is how I feel today. This is what's going on, and I always say talking, talking. I tell this, I have a book club. And so I tell in my book club, I said, I love masks, honey. I love wearing masks because, when something is bothering me, I can put my mask on, honey, and I'd be walking down the street talking to myself. Yes, I do. Having a full-blown conversation. Don't nobody know that I'm
What you talking about?
they don't know I'm talking. But one time I was in the store, I think I got a little loud, and this man turned around. But honey, I got to talk it out. See, that's me. That's the way I deal with things. I talk it out, or I call my best friend and just be talking her ear off. But I got to get it out. And so we need those confidants that we can call and say, this is how I feel. This is how I'm feeling right now. I just need to get this out. Once I get this out, I'm gonna be cool, but I gotta get it out, And I'm not that journaling person. I don't do that. I don't do it. I know some people do a lot of journal, but we have our different ways of how we get things out of our spirit. And some women journal, some they may go, we find different methods, but for me, I talk it out. I have to
Well,
talk it out because I got to talk through it. You I gotta talk through it until it starts saying, "Well, that don't even make sense. What are you talking about?" Then I'd be like, "Get your life." That's me. Get your life. What are you even talking about? But
well,
that's what I
for
do.
me, I'm a crier. Like if you really know me, I'm a crier. Like I be boo. I have my ugly cry, as Oprah says. I have my
Okay.
ugly cry moments, and I'm like, "Ah,"
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's what works for me. That's what cleanses my emotional spirit.
Exactly.
To
Hmm.
cry.
Yes.
That's what works for me.
Yeah. Because crying It does so much for you. I love that too. I'm a cry, I like to cry when my nose is running, my mouth gets sloppy. I mean, I'm really into that ugly cry then. But I also know this, as I'm crying, it's washing me. Tears wash
Yeah.
it washes your soul. So we all need that really, 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 really good cry and get it out. And you notice that once you get that real good cry out, you feel refreshed. You feel like it can go on. You feel strength. And the Bible says that God, he takes our tears and bottles them up. Every tear we cry, God has bottled them up. And that's a good father. That's a good father. So I know he probably got jugs of tears from me, jugs. And I thank him for it. But crying is good. Crying is healing, and crying is healthy, and crying cleanses the mind, the soul, and the spirit. It cleanses. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
What would you say? What would you say to that person that's really going through something hard right now? What would you say to them?
Talk to God. Be honest. Trust
Mhm.
in him. Have faith. Have faith in him that he hears your prayers. He hears you talking to him. And you don't have to pray like, oh Father out there. No. Just talk to him. He knows what's on your mind.
Mm.
Secondly, I would say if you need to talk to a therapist, talk to somebody who's licensed in counseling. If that's what you need to do. Otherwise, talk to a good friend, not just somebody who's not gonna judge you. Somebody who has a listening and caring ear.
Yes, 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 definitely. That you hit it on the head. A listening and a caring ear,
Caring ear.
not just listening for information. Some people just listen to you for
Be
information.
nosy.
Yeah. They listen so they can get an earful. Before you hung up the phone, they be calling, girl, let me tell you what,
Okay.
she didn't win bananas. But
Somebody who's gonna keep your business confidential.
exactly,
Hmm.
exactly, exactly. And you know what? And I have to say that I have some women in my life who I have those women in my life, and I thank God for them. And I also notice that the older we get, the smaller our circle get, right? When we're younger, we call everybody friends. But when you start getting older, that circle starts, getting small to those that you can really, really confide in, and just really show who you really are. My best friend, Canette, you know, God bless her soul. but
Uh-huh.
but she has seen me in different places where other people have not, in different emotions where other people have not seen me, right? And I get a chance to share. And when you do things like that, you tend to bond with a person. People say all the time, said, if you see one, you see the other. But I think that her and I have really been like helpers to one another over the years, and again, like I said, I have some wonderful women in my life that I can pick up the phone and go, and share with them how I'm feeling. And so it's so important to have someone that you can call and they're listening and they're caring. Erinn, what do you think about our young people today? And what I say about that, our people today. What do you think about our young people today in terms of their relationships with their parents? How does that affect you when you see something that is a negative, or young people who don't even appreciate their parents
Oh,
to have?
that bothers me so much because I'm thinking to myself, I don't even have a mom or dad to say you need to be quiet and shut up to. Not that I would say that,
Yes.
but you are so lucky.
Yep.
Your parents care for you so much, and you're sitting up here acting a fool towards them, toward bringing shame upon the family.
Mhm.
It's indescribable. I have no words. I just shake my head because I just there are times that I'm just like, I wish I had a mom that I could yell at and all this and that,
Yeah.
but I don't.
Mhm.
I don't have anybody. I
Right.
don't have a mom. I don't have a dad. I don't have a sister. I don't have anybody that has sibling rivalry
Rivalry. Right.
with him.
Right.
I don't have that.
Hmm.
It's just me, myself, and I.
Just me, myself, and I, and the Lord. How about that?
Thank the Lord.
And you got him, you got all you need. But I get what you're saying.
Amen to that, sister.
You know, I get what you're saying. You know, it's a hard thing. Yeah. When when your mom and your parents are gone. So I get that. But to see young people today and take it for granted, right? You know,
Yeah.
and they take it for granted. And to hear a story like yours that your parents left at the age of 13. So there was no attendance of them at your 8th grade graduation, right?
No, my grandmother, the
You
woman who
know,
took care of me afterwards,
right.
but she's gone now. So
She's gone. You know,
yeah.
there was no attendance of them at your prom. Your mother didn't get you together for your prom, right? No
No.
attendance of your family there, your parents and your sister at your senior
My college graduation,
your
my
college
master's
graduate.
graduation.
Hmm. No.
No.
So are you the only one here in Chicago of your family? Do you have family?
I have family. I have family. I have my mom, my dad's side of the family. They're here.
Yes.
My
Okay.
mom's side of the family is mainly in Oklahoma. And I have my mom, my dad. I have an aunt in Atlanta.
Okay.
But
So how often do you see them?
I see them on the holidays. I see them, quite frequently.
Okay. Good.
I see them when I get a chance to. I'm
Okay.
working now, so I don't really have too much time, but I
Uh-huh.
make an effort to stay in touch with them. I make an effort.
And we talked about your job, and you say you choose to stay there. Tell me again what it is that you do and
I'm
why.
an issue screener. I take temperatures all day. That's all I do.
You take temperatures. Look, Erinn. You got a master's, and you take temperature all day. That's all I
That's
do.
all I do. And
Just take.
I like it. I am satisfied with it. When I get up in the morning and I have to go to work,
Uh-huh.
I be an Erinn with a master's that takes temperatures all day. That's fine with me.
I remember you saying that. You said I take temperatures all day. That's all. That's what I want to do with a master's.
With a master's.
And why? Is it because of the interaction with the people, or?
Absolutely. I think with me, my mom working in healthcare, it
Okay.
trickled down on me to do what I do now. And it's not brain work. It's not like, brain surgery.
Yeah.
But do I use my master's? Absolutely. Because I have a master's in social work. So I'll talk to people and I'll say, if I notice they have, well, I can't tell because everybody has a mask. But if they look like they need some uplift, I have no problems doing so.
Okay.
I'll say, oh, your nails are nice, so I like that shirt. And I don't know what the people are coming into the hospital for, but it's that bedside manner that I previously discussed about my mother that I utilize in my occupation.
So in your occupation, being there in the hospital, in some ways, that gives you like a connection to your mom.
Absolutely. It
Mhm.
absolutely does.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it. I love what I do.
Yeah, you know what? It's amazing that you say that. I'm gonna share my testimony with you as well. I have a girlfriend whose mother was in horticulture, right? And so
Uh-huh.
now she finds herself working with plants, and she's good at it. They beautiful, But it's amazing. It's amazing how, like my mom raised 6 girls by herself and 3 boys, right? And so yeah, on the South Side. And when she did that, I was thinking of what can I do to keep her memory alive.
Mm-hmm.
And so God gave me he gave me the work of mentoring girls because he knew I didn't want to mentor no girls. I raised 2 by myself. So anyway, but God gave me that to mentor girls. And so in doing that, I'm able to share, some of her philosophies, right? I'm able
Yes.
to share with them how she raised us, what was important. She didn't have a lot. We didn't have a lot because we ate every day. We was always clean with clothes and had a roof over our head. So we didn't know we didn't have a lot. But the thrust in our home was education. She would tell us, go to school and make something of yourself, right? And so this
Mm-hmm.
is why I'm into mentoring and leadership development to usher these young ladies and expose them to post-secondary education so they can go
Mm-hmm.
be that person. You know what I'm saying? So that's my connection to my mom. That's Sharon's connection to her mom, the horticulture, and as well as you, hospital, because it gives you connection to your mother. It's amazing, but that's just the way life is. We want to feel close to them in some type of way, even though they're gone. You know, I'm gonna share this too. I used to hear people say how your loved ones come back and visit you. And I used to say, no, they don't. You know,
Yes, they do.
I used to say, they don't, no, they don't. They don't. And I was like, how they come back and visit you? And I learned myself. Yeah, I learned my mom in my dreams a lot, you know, because I didn't realize that after she died in 2006, I was depressed for 2 years, and I didn't know because I'd never been depressed before. Right?
Hmm.
I'm always in this other space, and I was so depressed that I remember going to Bishop Smith, and I said, I feel like I'm going down a rabbit hole, like I'm just going down, you know, this dark hole. And it was around that time when I said that I started dreaming a lot about my mother. And it came to me, I said, my mother is visiting me. My mother is visiting me. Yeah. You know, so I understand now. They do come back and visit you, but they come in their dreams. Is that the way it has happened for you?
Yes, well, no, not in my dreams because I can't remember my dreams for the for the life of me, honest. But um, cardinals, red cardinals, are how my parents and my mom, my grandmother visit me because the bird I see a cardinal all the time, and the spiritual meaning of a cardinal visiting you is a loved one is looking after you.
Right. Right.
So my guardian angels or my parents, my grandmother, they visit me, my granny, they visit me in the form of cardinals.
And wow, I've heard people say that the cardinals are like your loved ones coming back to
Yes,
visit you. You know, they just appear and just sit there, right?
yes. And the
God
last
is
time I saw one was on Mother's Day, so I knew that was my mom.
wow. You have been amazing. I want you to know
Thank you.
I'm so glad that you have decided to come and share with us, Erinn. Like I said, you are a bright light. You are
Thank
resilient.
you.
You know, you are powerful. You are a strong woman.
Thank you.
you
Thank you very much.
you're a strong woman because you know if I would have just brought you around some people, I don't they wouldn't have seen that on you of what you have
Mhm.
through, you know, and stuff. And let me ask you about about the story because I know they showed it in 2008. How often do they run that story?
That I don't know per
Okay.
se, but I know I make sure to keep it in an email marked important so that when the anniversary day, April 24th, shows up, I post it somewhere so everybody can be like, oh, because not everybody knows. Because it's not something that I typically just go around telling people.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Not saying it's not important or that I don't want to rehash it. It's just like,
That's
I
the
just keep it
anniversary.
to myself. It's just something I keep to myself unless people ask. Then it's like, okay, well, this is what happened. Yada yada yada.
Wow. Because I think that's when you posted it. It was on an anniversary because that's what the author
Yes,
said. But then it was like, this is the 25th anniversary when it was
yeah.
originally posted. And we know now that 3 years have passed. And now it's like the 28th year and stuff. But what do you do when the anniversary time comes around? Do you do anything special? Do you take the day off?
I talk
Are
to
they, are,
God. I talk to my family. I talk to them individually. I talk to them as a group. I look at their pictures and reminisce.
okay.
I do cry. I think the older I get, I start to cry more.
Yeah,
But that's a given. I mean, who wouldn't? It was a
exactly.
tragedy. It really
It was,
was.
it was a tragedy.
So it's like, how do you just not cry? It is not good to keep all those emotions in. So let it out.
Yeah, that is very true.
Let it out.
Karen, were they buried here in Chicago?
Yes, they're married at Mount Hope Cemetery in
Okay.
Beverly.
Oh, in Beverly. Do you ever go there? Do you?
Sometimes I think, yeah, I do. I don't. I try not to go as much anymore because I don't want to remember them lying in the state that they're in. I want to remember them in life, being
Yeah.
lively and how I want to remember them. I don't want to keep going there and rehashing. No, I want to remember them the
Yeah.
way I remember my family, my sister,
Right.
my mom, and my father.
Yes. Wow. And all of them together. You know, when I went out, to my mother's place where she lives now, that's what
Mhm.
worked for me, right? And I would say,
Yeah.
I would say, oh, my mother, she lives over there, and my sister lives over there, my brother lives over there. And that's the way I relate to it. I heard someone one time uh, put it in such a wonderful way. Her son was passing, right? He hadn't passed, he was making his transition, I should say.
Okay.
She said, he's going home. And
Hmm.
that kind of like take the sting out of it, right? So
Yes.
when I would go out and out to the cemetery, I would say, "Oh, I'm going up with my mom. She lives over here. My sister over there. My brother's over there," because that takes the sting out of it that they're gone. It has gotten much, much better over the years, but God is good. Again, I am so happy that you chose to come on Motivational Monday. This is wonderful. This is
Thank
wonderful.
you.
I wish you all the best, Miss Voluptuous USA. People are still saying, "Are you going to do that again?" I'm like, "Ooh, pageants are a lot of work, honey. You-
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, but I do thank you. You are resilient. You are powerful, powerful woman of God. Just beautiful, just a light. God left you for a light. That's why He said, "Erinn, turn around and go back." Look at that! Wow.
You think?
You know what I'm saying? Erinn, it's not your turn. Turn around and go back.
Turn around and go back. It's not your turn.
Wow. My God, what a mighty God we serve. I feel my help right.
Amen.
What a mighty God we serve. He is able to do exceeding and abundantly above all that we can ask or think. I tell you, if you stay with God, God will stay with you. My
Amen.
God, yes, He will. Yes, He will. Again, I thank you so much. Listen, you're going to have to come visit us at the Apostolic Faith Church so you can see Bishop Horace Smith and see our brand new church. I know you, have you been to the old church before?
Yeah, I just know about the old church.
Okay, so we have a much bigger church now. We was at 3823. Now we at 3843. We done took over the block, to be honest. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, we've taken over the block. So we got to get you there on a Sunday morning, so you can see Bishop and just fellowship with us. Just fellowship with us. We thank you so much. Thank you for being on Motivational Monday.
thank you.
You for sharing your testimony with us and the glory of God with us. And somebody said, Jesus is real. I know that's the song. Jesus is real, and He is
Yes, he is.
in your life. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I thank you so much for the audience and for just sharing with you.
Thank you, audience. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Erinn, so much. We're going to get out of here, but I love you so much. And I appreciate you sharing your time with me this evening. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Lovely. Thank you.
You are so welcome. So welcome. Wow. Huh. What shall we say to these things? That's all I can think of. What shall we say to these things? If God be for us, who can be against us? And her story is just amazing. I would have never thought when she came to the Miss Voluptuous tryout, Miss Voluptuous USA tryout, I would have never thought that this lady had gone through the things that she had. I just know when she walked in, she was bubbly, she had flowers in her hair and she just does her own thing. And I was like, who's this person, and stuff. And never would have thought that she had lost her entire family in a tornado. And they were killed instantly. Storm chasers found her thrown somewhere else. Her sister was somewhere in the grass, and things of that sort. And everybody is gone. Everybody is gone. And but isn't it amazing how God said, Erinn, turn around, go back. It's not your time. I'm done. I'm done. What? She said, I did see the light. He told me to turn around and go back. I'm coming. Not yet. But my goodness, my God, wow. And to know that God has been with her all this time and He's still with her, And like I said, if you was to meet her, Dale, there's no residue on her, none, that she has gone through all of this. She's still bubbly. She's still smiling, and I'm going to bring her to the Apostolic Faith Church, and we're just going to love on her. You hear me, Reverend Kay? We're going to love on her, Kimmy, and welcome her to the Apostolic Faith Church. Listen, thank you guys so much for always supporting me and for supporting all these dynamic women that the Lord is bringing across my path, and you yourself as well are dynamic. We should be encouragement to each other. It takes nothing from me to compliment you. It takes nothing from me to support you, nothing at all, because what you do for one, someone would do it for you. I know what I'm talking about. Thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of Motivational Mondays. Good night, everyone.